The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. My name is Ed, and looks like I'm in here by myself today, y'all. So anyway, we're going to make this happen one way or another, as always. Hope everybody is having a great morning and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, folks have a few other things they need to take care of today, just like I had something to do yesterday. So can't be mad at them, right? So anyway, let me fill you in on what we got going on with our interest groups today. So we have two brand new interest groups today. One being makeup application with Miss Aletha Donaldson. Hopefully you guys remember her. She was on with me last week. She's been on once or twice before that. But anyway, she'll be starting a new group tonight. It'll be on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And she's just going to, share some tips and tricks and what she knows about, applying makeup as a blind woman. And still been able to make sure that you look good and all that kind of stuff, because regardless whether you're blind or not, you still want to look good, right? So, and I mean, even though I can't see the ladies, I just know that I have a lot more appreciation when I know they, have that in their head as well, to always do their best to try to make sure they look good. So, but anyway, that's at 5 o'clock today. Pacific time, of course. And then immediately following that, there's another new group that will be on the second Tuesday of every month. It is actually a ladies support group. So just like you ladies need to have want to look good, all that kind of stuff, y'all also need a safe place where you can have conversations and whatnot about issues, concerning women. And, not only that, being this is Blind United, concerning being a blind woman. So, again, that's what's going on today. So that one will be at 6 o'clock. And again, that for right now, that one will be once a month and at 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in and join us for that one. Look forward to, well, I won't be there because I'm going to let you ladies have your space and do your thing. I'm always happy to support women and everything they do. So on that note, we're going to move forward and try to move on to some other stuff. So let me go ahead and get some of this, get these commercials out the way right up front. And then we'll get into some of these articles. And I guess I can give my little commentary, feedback on what's going on with these articles. So I hope that you enjoy them. So let's do this, and I'll check you on the other side.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Feeling lucky? Join Blind United for a thrilling day at Viejas Casino and Resort. Slot Machine. Mark your calendars for Friday, August 9th. We're rolling out from 2 locations, Montclair and Buena Park at 9 a.m. sharp, so don't be late. For just $21, you can enjoy a ride filled with fun, refreshments, and the chance to win big. Remember, space is limited, and the deadline for your payment is July 20th. All bookings are non-refundable after July 20th. Bring your poker face and your ID and get ready for a day of excitement and entertainment. No worries about the drive. We've got you covered. You can just relax there and back. Book your spot now. Contact Cheryl at 909-821-9589, cthurston74@gmail.com, or Pedro at 323-631-2122, P. Aguilera at blindunited.org. Let's hit the jackpot together. You can Zelle your payments to Blind United Incorporated by using the email blindunited2022@gmail.com.
So let me give a few other instructions about the bus trip, casino trip, if anybody is interested in attending that and hanging out with us for that. Again, always, it's a fundraiser. Again, everything we do here on Blind United, we provide for free, all the training, all the interest groups, whether it be JAWS training or iPhone training or AI training, learning Spanish, whatever it is, we provide all of that to everyone that attends absolutely free. So we have to do these fundraisers in order to make that kind of stuff happen. So, but anyway, so as you heard in the commercial, we have 2 buses going. So Cheryl is in charge of bus 1. So if you would like to go with us and hang out and do what we do, please contact Cheryl. Let her know. If you are zelling your money in, please indicate in the memo field that it is casino bus trip, bus 1. And then for those who may want to get on the bus, I'm sorry, Cheryl's bus is leaving out of Montclair and Pedro's bus is leaving out of Buena Park. So if Buena Park is more convenient for you, then that's why we created that secondary bus. So you could reach out to Pedro and give him your information. But when you Zelle your money in to Blind United, please indicate in the memo line casino bus trip bus 2. That way we know what routes to put you folks on, and we make sure that we got a seat for you on these buses. Now, on that note, the seats are going pretty fast right now. We're going fastly approaching the cutoff time, which is July the 20th. So we have a little over 11 days left. So if you really want to go and hang out with us, the sooner you reserve your spot, the better off you'll be. You might as well get in there and book your spot now. That way you're guaranteed to have a seat on the bus. Again, we'll be providing, snacks and stuff like that for the trip down. I do know that in Montclair, when you get on the bus down there, it is in the parking lot in McDonald's. So maybe you might want to grab you some breakfast or whatever, Again, if you're diabetic or whatever, you got to make sure you eat and all that kind of good stuff. So that is a McDonald's right there. So you can grab you some stuff there. I'm not sure I know Pedro's buses in Buena Park is leaving out of a Walmart parking lot, but I'm pretty sure there's some stuff probably close by where you might be able to grab something if you need more than the snacks we will be providing for the bus. So again, it's a great trip. I've been on it a few times. Nice casino. Then, also, beside all the activities within the Viejas Casino, which is, graciously, it's not hard to find. I mean, it's hard to find, nowadays since COVID, the ability to do these types of fundraisers. A lot of these places are just not providing buses and stuff like that anymore, but Viejas is gracious enough to do that, and we appreciate them for doing that. So, but also, once you're checked in down in the casino and get your player's card and all that stuff, and you've dropped a couple dollars in the machine for them, hopefully you pull more out than you drop in. But maybe you want to go across the street and do a little shopping. I know I like going over there and do a little shopping. They got an outlet mall right across the street that has, everybody knows what an outlet mall is today. So there's many, many, many different designers and, stores and stuff within that outlet center. So I'm quite sure you can find something over there that you're looking for if that's your thing, if you prefer shopping. So again, seats are going fast, so reach out to us and let us know what you'd like to do. Get on the bus, get your seat reserved, and we can make all that happen. So I'm going to get down here, and we have a lot of folks that do with us. I'm sorry, I was navigating to my next article. So anyway, we got a lot of folks that, for those that believe and pray, I want you to pray for all of our Blind United. Well, I want you to pray for everybody in Texas that's going through this Hurricane Daryl thing right now. We do have a large following of folks that participate in what we do here at Blind United from Texas, all the way across Texas, actually, from the East Texas all the way to West Texas. So anyway, let's give a little quick update on what's going on with Hurricane Daryl down there, and we'll talk about this one on the other side. So,
Tropical Storm Beryl updates. State officials confirm third death from the storm. 2 people died in Harris County after trees fell on residences. Beryl is bringing strong winds and heavy rain as it moves northeast through the state. A third person has died from the storm. Power restoration will take days, state leaders confirm. Efforts to restore power to 2.7 million customers whose service was knocked out by Hurricane Beryl will take multiple days, state officials said Monday evening while warning of persisting danger even as the storm moved on. This will be a multi-day restoration effort, Public Utility Commission of Texas Chair Thomas Gleason said during a news conference. I'd ask Texans for their patience as the crews are out there doing their best to try to restore energy across the state. Just under 2.7 million Texans did not have power as of early Monday evening, according to Power Outage US, with most of those outages among people serviced by CenterPoint Energy, the main electricity provider for most residents in Harris and Fort Bend counties, in addition to dozens of communities across East Texas. Lieutenant Government Dan Patrick, who is acting as governor while Governor Greg Abbott is out of the country, warned that more people may experience outages before service is restored, with transmission lines down by fallen trees. CenterPoint was deploying 11,500 people to help restore power as quickly as possible, Patrick said. Texas Emergency Management Chief Nim Kidd said that the department will work with local officials to open cooling centers and shelters as the heat sets in and residents remain without power. First responders were busy moving patients out of nursing homes, hospitals, and assisted living facilities. A third person, a City of Houston employee, has died from drowning in a flooded underpass, Patrick said. 2 people were killed in 2 separate incidents earlier by falling trees as they sheltered in their homes. Caligua, July 8, 2024, at 3:26 p.m. More than 2.7 million electricity customers without power. Ominous clouds accompany a heavy band of rain on the eve before Beryl passes through Houston on Sunday, July 7, 2024. Annie Mulligan for the Texas Tribune. Hurricane Beryl has knocked out power for more than 2.7 million Texas customers as of 12:59 p.m. Monday, based on estimates from Power Outage US and CenterPoint Energy. CenterPoint announced at 3:30 p.m. that its crews were beginning the process of restoring power to the 2.26 million Texas customers who lacked electricity. CenterPoint has not yet provided an estimate of when millions of its customers will regain electricity. We are mobilizing all of our available resources, as well as mutual assistance resources from other utility companies, to begin the process of quickly and safely restoring power to our customers, Lene Wilson, Senior Vice President of Electric Business at CenterPoint. We understand how difficult it is to be without power for any amount of time, especially in the heat. We are laser focused on the important and time-sensitive work that lies ahead. CenterPoint will begin publishing estimates for substantial power restorations after assessing the damage. Outages are most extensive in the Houston area and coastal counties, including Matagorda, where Beryl landed as a Category 1 hurricane at approximately 4 a.m. Monday. Significant outages are also in Galveston County, Calhoun County, and Jackson County. As the morning progressed, outages extended further inland and into deep East Texas to areas including Polk, San Jacinto, Montgomery, Grimes, and Washington counties. Most of the outages are among customers who receive power from CenterPoint Energy. CenterPoint is the main electricity provider for the vast majority of residents in Harris and Fort Bend counties, and also provides electricity to dozens of East Texas communities. The provider is not currently providing county-specific numbers on outages. CenterPoint warned people to stay away from downed wires and to not attempt to remove tree limbs or objects from power lines. Customers are instead advised to report outages and hazardous conditions to their power company or local authorities. As of noon, about 25,000 AEP Texas customers remained without electricity. Most of those outages were in the Upper Corpus Christi area, a loop starting from Port Lavaca to Bay City to El Campo and to Victoria. AEP crews began restoring power to some of their customers Monday and expect to have more restoration information in the next 24 hours. For the more than 25,000 customers of Encore Electric Delivery who were affected by the outages, power restoration will likely happen on a case-by-case basis, according to Katie Blake, a spokesperson for Encore. Pooja Silhotra and Berenice Garcia. July 8, 2024 at 1:21 p.m. Tornadoes pop up in East Texas after Beryl downgraded to a tropical storm. After downing trees and power lines across the greater Houston area, Hurricane Beryl has been downgraded to a tropical storm, meaning wind speeds have lowered below 75 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds have decreased to about 60 miles per hour, a 1 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Beryl is headed northeastward at about 14 miles per hour and is expected to increase in speed as it continues to move through East Texas, where some local officials asked residents to shelter in place. The National Weather Service out of Shreveport is tracking 3 confirmed tornadoes on radar, 2 in Texas and the 3rd in Louisiana. The first is south of Joaquin, which is north of Lufkin and near the Louisiana border. The second is north of Timpson, which is also near the border. Forecasters urged Texans to use caution amid downed power lines and warned that improper generator use can cause carbon monoxide poisoning. On the Texas coastline, a storm surge warning is still in effect north of San Luis Pass to Sabine Pass, an area that includes Galveston Bay. The tropical storm warning was discontinued from Port O'Connor to San Luis Pass. The coastal bend, including areas like Corpus Christi, was spared from the brunt of the storm. Pooja Salhotra and Jess Huff. July 8, 2024 at 10:59 a.m. Two people die in separate incidents after Beryl knocks trees onto residences, authorities say. Two people have died, and another was injured after Hurricane Beryl downed trees in separate Houston neighborhoods near George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Harris County. The Atascocita Fire Department responded to a call about a fallen tree at approximately 6:30 a.m., according to Jerry Dilliard, the department's spokesperson. Two people were at the residence, and one was deceased at the scene. The second person was transported to the hospital, and their condition is currently unclear. One person was trapped under a ceiling in a part of the house that the tree had fallen on, Dilliard said. In an email, Harris County Sheriff's Office Senior Deputy Thomas Gilliland confirmed the death, noting that a tree fell on a house and a man was trapped under debris. That tragic incident is being worked by our personnel, Gilliland wrote. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said on X that the deceased person is a 53-year-old man who was sitting in a house with family, riding out the storm. Gonzalez also reported hours later that a tree fell on a residence in the neighborhood of Rustic Canyon Trail in Houston, causing the death of a 74-year-old woman. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo described the woman as a grandmother who died after a tree fell on her bedroom in the Spring neighborhood. High winds have made their way north from the Texas coast into East Texas, and counties have begun to ask residents to shelter in place as a way to keep emergency vehicles off the roads as well. The storm kept up its momentum as a Category 1 hurricane all the way to Interstate 10, surprising meteorologist Matt Lanza at Space City Weather. The widespread wind gusts of 75 to 85 miles per hour so far inland were really unnerving, he wrote in an updated blog post. Residents of San Jacinto, Liberty, Hardin, and Tyler counties have been encouraged to shelter in place, especially to stay off the roads in an effort to also keep emergency vehicles off the road. News outlets and emergency management teams throughout the region have reported downed power lines and trees throughout the region. The National Weather Service issued a tornado watch until 10 p.m. Monday for counties between Montgomery and Texarkana counties, as well as northwest and north-central Louisiana and southern Arkansas. A wind advisory is in effect until Tuesday morning. Storm passes over Lake Livingston Dam, which was inundated with rain in April. In Polk County, which is home to the Lake Livingston Dam, the storm began to peak around 11 a.m., with the worst of it located over the dam, according to Polk County Emergency Management. High winds are still top of mind, even as Beryl has been downgraded to a tropical storm. The dam, which recently reported potential failures, was releasing 21,175 cubic feet of water per second as of 11 a.m., and the lake level is at 130.93 feet above sea level. This is significantly less than the several 100,000 cubic feet of water released in April, when storms required several 100,000 cubic feet of water per second to be released for multiple days in a row. The Trinity River Authority, in conjunction with the Federal Aviation Authority, initiated a temporary flight restriction over the dam as the authority also began construction to mitigate potential failures early Monday. Now back to the Coffee Time crew.
Well, wow, they got a lot going on down there in Texas right now. So, again, I just want to pray for everyone down there and the families of the, folks that have lost their lives down there. I mean, I know it's hard on them as well, the families. Again, we do have a large following of folks that, follow Blind United, participate in Blind United. And they're down there in Texas, so I want to, send my prayers out for them as well as their families, so. But back to it, I mean, again, they got a lot going on down there in Texas. I mean, man, what can I say? I wish they would get their infrastructure together down there. I mean, this is, second, third year in a row they've had to deal with these, these power outings, power failures. I mean, in the summertime, wintertime, it seemed like there's no rhyme or reason, other than, the, elements have changed. We had the one in the wintertime where everybody was freezing to death in their home, due to extreme cold. And now we got, a hurricane hit them. And man, you hear that little piece in there about how after the hurricane downgraded, then they had tornadoes started popping up. Man, it's just crazy. And, now we're at risk of flooding and stuff, but what's going on with all the water and stuff down there. So, man, again, I just, I wish everybody the best down there. Again, I wish the government would get themselves together. I mean, down in Texas, I mean, I think the governor of Texas, Mr. Abbott, I think he should have brought himself back to Texas as soon as he heard that the storm was headed that way. But evidently he's too busy out of the country right now and doesn't have time to deal with his state. So, but man, again, it's rough on folks down there. If you got it in your heart and you want to help, a good source to always reach out to would be the Red Cross. The Red Cross is always going to be there to help folks in, times of, these natural things jumping off and creating havoc in people's lives. So the Red Cross is always a good choice to reach out to. And, if you want to try to help in some kind of way, I'm pretty sure if you reached out to, some of the individual townships and counties or whatever, they might have other ways to possibly help out, different churches and organizations within those areas. Everybody, I know they could use your help. I do, so if you have it in your heart to do that kind of stuff, please do so. So, again, I just hope everybody gets through this well. I hope they get their power restored back soon. I mean, the storm may be gone now, but, as noted pretty much across the country right now, we're dealing with an extreme heat wave. So I know I couldn't handle being around without my air conditioner on. And, these folks ain't got no choice because of these power outages and stuff down there. Now they stuck. They don't know when they're going to get their power back on. So again, I hope everybody gets all that stuff situated really, really soon. And, everybody can get their lives back on track and try to do what it takes to move forward within their lives. So anyway, let me, sound like I got somebody just popped in to hang out with me. Let me pop in here and see who this is. So give me a minute here. Okay, we got Brittany coming in. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Okay. Let me, move on to this next article. I don't know if you was listening, Britt, or not, but I did an update on what was going on down there in Texas. So.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to try to see what everybody thinks about this one. This is about our navigational apps. So let me play this one and we'll be back on the other side.
Do navigation apps think we're stupid? Why Apple and Google can't stop mapsplaining to their users. As a hamburger enthusiast, I often need directions to some burger's joint I've never tried. Recently, my phone's instructions sent me toward the on-ramp for the interstate. Then the app urged me, in 500 feet, to merge onto the freeway. By that time, though, what else could I have done? Did the app imagine that I might get confused and turn around instead? Mapping software is incredible. Having instant access to every storefront, building, park, and transit stop on every street, almost anywhere in the world, has changed my life as much as any other single innovation of the cell phone age. But also, mapping software is a little weird. Seemingly random places show up as landmarks in my neighborhood, a Bitcoin ATM, a nearby hotel I'll never stay at. And when I need directions, my app likes to tell me things that no one ever needs to know, such as when to merge onto the freeway from an on-ramp. Why is it so obtuse? Or perhaps the better question is, what makes the software think that I'm obtuse? Simply put, the maps don't see the world the way the people who use them do. In the data that underlie a digital map, a road network is represented as a bunch of lines. Those lines have a beginning and an end. Seth Spielman, a geographer who worked for a time as a data scientist on Apple Maps, explained to me that a driver often gets instructions from the app at transition points between those segments. When I turn onto the ramp, then merge onto the freeway, I've driven through a pair of segments, and from the map's perspective, I am thus in need of extra guidance. But I don't feel that need at all. From my perspective, just a single phrase, "Get on the freeway," would suffice. That mismatch of advice is a problem that digital maps have created for themselves. If you started driving before the age of GPS-enabled, app-driven smartphones, you may remember what a traditional road map looked like, lines crossing other lines. A freeway ramp or cloverleaf might be shown in abstract. You'd see how roads connected, and then you'd navigate them on your own. Maps are always simplifications. But now they simplify a lot less than they used to. The way the real world is digitally represented creates all of these trivial intersections, Spielman said. That explains why a digital map might instruct you to continue down a straight road. If the street name changes, then, from the map's perspective, you've just exited one road and entered another. Don't do anything, your onboard flight computer says. Stay on track by going forward. The odds of your getting these unhelpful tips goes up in concert with the map's precision. Apple and Google have surveyed the world in more granular detail than has ever been produced in human history. Camera-topped cars, and sometimes bikes or pedestrians, have captured views of countless streets. Individual buildings, road lanes, and turn signals, along with bike lanes, park paths, and transit lines, are included in the datasets. Apple Maps displays detailed facades of landmarks like Radio City Music Hall. It shows the actual sizes and location of trees in some cities. All those data points make the mapping apps delightful, even when you aren't using them for navigation. But their sheer exhaustiveness has a downside. It leads to what might be called mapsplaining. Spielman showed me a satellite image of the intersection of Arapahoe Avenue and 28th Street in Boulder, Colorado. It's just a normal intersection of two thoroughfares. In the old days, a map would have depicted it as two lines intersecting. A driver who arrived there would surely not have been confused. But Apple and Google have collected enough data to represent this junction in all of its constituent parts. The maps know that one road is 5 lanes wide and the other 6. Both have medians. They understand that right turns between the streets can be accomplished via dedicated merge lanes that skip the red light. They appreciate that 2 lanes allow left turns between each of these streets, facilitated by a left turn arrow traffic signal. Having all this information helps the maps give their step-by-step instructions. Take the first turn lane from northbound 28th Street, then a quick right into the parking lot for Flatiron Coffee. That level of precision may be convenient for some drivers, but it comes at the price of breaking down the built environment into lots of extra segments and transitions that may trigger the display of useless routing information. Perhaps the software should just be telling you to go past the light and make a left. Apple Maps has tried to make its guidance feel more natural, in part by using common, human-sounding phrases. For example, go past the light and make a left. This language is intended to replace now familiar and robotic phrasings, such as in 300 yards, turn left. Google Maps is also trying not to be so tortuous or wordy. The software breaks down each route into multiple maneuvers. David Cronin, a senior director on the Google Maps design team, told me. Then it decides which and how many maneuvers a driver or pedestrian needs, how to describe those maneuvers, and what sort of visual and auditory information would best illustrate them. The goal, Cronin said, is to provide clear and unambiguous instructions without being too verbose. To achieve that goal, map designers must sometimes intervene and tell the software to ignore portions of its dataset. We recently made a change that stops giving people directions when they need to proceed straight through a traffic circle, Cronin said. In general, though, map direction algorithms are made to be as broadly applicable as possible. Apple handles route instructions differently for urban versus rural roads and for highways versus local streets, but its overall approach is broadly similar across its 30 countries and regions. Google does a bit of place-by-place fine-tuning, Cronin said. There are always tensions to respond to. In India and Southeast Asia, for example, Google Maps provides different routes for two-wheeled vehicles, given their ability to traverse narrower streets than cars. The data that allow the mapping apps to be so powerful, if also sometimes wonky, are constantly in flux. Google makes 50 million edits to its map per day, according to Cronin, adjusting details such as how roads are classified, where they join, which are closed due to construction, and so forth. All those changes may affect the quality of the app's instructions and their propensity to mapsplain in ways that the designers cannot necessarily predict. They also shape which points of interest will appear on maps. Both Apple and Google will try to show you businesses that are relevant to your current location. These may, at times, seem pretty random, a Lululemon, for example, or a barbecue place. The apps rely on popularity in deciding what to surface. They keep track of all the spots users tap on or route to most often. Spielman told me that, at one point, this criterion caused Apple Maps to show an excess of pizzerias and Chinese takeout restaurants by default, because so many people were tapping on them to order food. Google, which knows where you live if you give it a home address, might show different points of interest. Hotels, perhaps, if you're looking at the map of someplace far away. Apple avoids this use of people's data, making its results more private, but also more uniform. Both companies make use of information about how people, or at least their smartphones, traverse space to inform their guidance. These data might be used to evaluate current traffic conditions, for example. Spielman suggested that if a jogger ran across a given street, Apple Maps might be nudged to suggest that crossing at that intersection is more efficient than doing so in other places. Likewise, if someone tapped absent-mindedly on a bunch of different bars while waiting for an Uber, those bars might start popping up for other people on the theory that they're popular. Popularity also has a way of building on itself. Spielman told me that tech companies sometimes buy or scrape data to get business locations. Data for chains, such as big box stores and fast food restaurants, tend to be easier to find and more standardized than information for smaller businesses, giving the chains a boost on maps. Cronin disputed this account. Our aim is to create a digital representation of the real world, and that real world includes a range of businesses and places, he said, adding that local proprietors and other people can add places to the map. Apple also allows businesses to submit their information to its map. But once a destination has become a point of interest, people may be more inclined to get directions to it, reinforcing its position. Google also puts sponsored points of interest on maps. Cronin explained that those are marked differently, with a rounded square instead of a round pin, but I hadn't noticed that distinction until he pointed it out. The growth and spread of mapping data may have some other occult effects. Cronin said that Google Maps improves people's confidence in moving about the world. But Sarah Fabricant, a geographer at the University of Zurich, told me that this very confidence may be undermining humans' ability to self-orient. When the system fails, say, if your phone dies or you otherwise can't get a signal, the effects of getting lost are graver than they were before. It leads to confusion and delay, she told me, and eventually the loss of confidence in one's capacity to navigate. The technology companies hope that any social or cognitive downsides of mapping apps could be remedied by better features in the apps themselves. Cronin acknowledged that the maps may inhibit people from exploring, and in that way learning more about the world around them. But he said that new technologies, such as an augmented reality street view with superimposed walking directions, could encourage pedestrians to wayfind in the actual world, looking at their phone for guidance only when they need to. Google is also testing the idea of showing detailed previews of the end of a route, so drivers can work out ahead of time where they might look for parking, for example. Cronin suggested that this approach might support the skill of spatial planning. Apple, meanwhile, hopes that calling out waypoints, showing a user which way to go, and teaching them how to do it counts as its own form of geographical education. But new features may just as well encourage more complacency. I think most people are just conditioned by the apps and accept how they work and thus don't complain, Spielman said. Because, on the whole, what is there to complain about? Mapping apps and the turn-by-turn instructions they provide are fantastic, and their quirks are easily forgotten. After spending so many years being told to merge onto a freeway when, as a driver, I could do literally nothing else, I'd eventually stopped hearing it. Mapsplaining is just another part of driving, hiding in the background. Now I'm at the stoplight for the freeway on-ramp. Now I'm turning left. Now I'm getting on the freeway. Now I'm on the freeway. Me and my map app, there's nowhere we can't go. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Well, that was another one with a lot to digest within it. So let me get into my thing. Back in the day when I was truck driver, whatever, we didn't have all this stuff, as the article was stating, so we had a book, Thomas Guide, to be precise. And, it was very, very useful. I mean, the beauty to me, of the map was you were, able to visually see everything. You didn't see the businesses or whatever. You just seen the lay of the land, but at the same time, like as an example, my wife, she was from New York. She'd never driven before, so once she started driving, I got her a Thomas Guide, and I was, okay, here you go, showed her how to use it. And next thing I know, my wife was her own little personal GPS. I mean, she wasn't using the book no more. She understood, how the streets and stuff were laid out. If she was trying to go someplace and ran into traffic, she wasn't scared to, make her own detour up. And, she just knew that, okay, well, let me turn right here. I can go down a couple blocks, make me another left, and I can go down a few more blocks and make me another left, and I can get back on track and get where where I'm trying to go. Different little thing, but, as they say, people were, more self-orienting themselves back then. Now, I know people that come to my house and they've been here, 100 times, but every time they come here, they want to punch it into the GPS. Man, you can't remember how to get to my house. So, I mean, I don't know if it's, helping people, or they're just, not getting it, whatever,
I don't know, Ed. I think it's kind of like, before everybody would memorize everybody's phone number, and now you don't, because it's just in your phone. And I guess it's the same kind of thing. Like, okay, I'm going to type in this to the GPS and get my turn-by-turn directions, because you're probably not memorizing it. And if you don't go there every day, I guess you're just not going to memorize it.
Right. But again, now we run into the problem, with technology. What happens if it fails?
Then you're screwed, I guess.
Yeah, you're stuck, So now on the flip side of it, as a blind person now,
I love it.
I need it, because why? I can't see it no more. I can't look at a map. I need something that's going to give me, that audible signals and stuff, and let, I should say audible cues, okay, look, walk down to the corner, make a left, whatever, boom, 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 just step by step, turn by turn kind of stuff. We need it. Actually, we, us in the blind community, we probably need a little bit more, because, as we say, okay, it might get me to the business I'm trying to go to, but because I can't see now, how do I find the door? Different things like that. So, I mean, there's other little bits and pieces of information that I wish, would help us out a little bit more. So, I mean, again, folks, they all I can say, what, if it works for you, it works. But at the same time, do yourself a favor. Start paying attention to where you're going. Start paying attention to where you're making these turns at. Don't just sit there, and idly let, your device tell you when to turn. I mean, when I was a truck driver, a big part of me was landmarks, knowing your landmarks. Even when we were learning our O&M, it was all about finding those landmarks and understanding, okay, at this landmark, I make a right, or at this landmark, I make a left, or whatever the case may be. We have to tactically feel our routes, but I wish I still had my vision, because why? Now I can see my route. I know I make a left at the Chevron. I go down 4 blocks, I make a right at the McDonald's, whatever. People they're not doing that nowadays. They're just sitting there. Okay, they're waiting on, okay, make a right turn in 300 feet. Okay, make a right turn onto the freeway. In 300 feet, merge left, all this other kind of stuff. I mean, come on, how long you been driving? When you're going up a freeway on ramp, you got to merge into the traffic. I don't think I necessarily need an app to tell me that, so anyway, that's my opinion on it, but it is what it is. It was a pretty long article, so.
No, it was a pretty long article. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying this is good, but a lot of people are fiddling with their phones, changing the radio, doing whatever. So it's kind of good that the GPS breaks things down to the ridiculous, I guess.
Well, yeah, but again, as we talking about, I mean, doing multitasking while you're driving is not necessarily a good thing. So, but on that note, you got to punch in where you're going. You got to, all these different things. Now you're being distracted. Please pull to the curb, and do that stuff. Don't be driving down the main boulevard trying to type in addresses and all this other kind of stuff into your phone, because you might not see that car stop in front of you. I mean, so just like they don't want you texting, while you're driving, everything should be hands free. Now if you can voice activate your phone and tell it where you want to go and all that kind of stuff, cool. I mean, I know we can do a lot of that with the Apple iPhone and stuff like that. I don't know how much can be done with the Android, but please pay attention to what you're doing. A lot of stuff going on out there on them streets, and a lot of accidents are happening. Why? Simply because people are not paying attention to what they're doing. So, but again, it's a different kind of thing, So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for them, especially now that I'm blind, visually impaired. It's a great help to me now, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a benefit to not have to break out that book and, okay, now I got to go to the back of the book and look up the street. Now I got to look up the 100 block. Then I got to figure out what page it's on. Then I got to go to that page and find it on the page and, all that different kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a lot easier. Thank God for technology. But, again, I couldn't drive down the street doing that. I had to pull to the curb. So, me, myself personally, I would plot my routes as a truck driver. I would plot my routes before I left. I'd grab my load and I'd break open my Thomas guide, break out that address, look it up in the book, plot my route out, and I got it in my head. Okay, you take the Long Beach Freeway to the San Diego Freeway, get off on such and such a street and go down. You pretty much got all that stuff in your head. Now you're just, folks they have the convenience of not having to do all that. They can just sit there and let somebody give them direction. So, and it's not necessarily a good, bad thing. So, you know what? I'm not even necessarily going to try to do this last article because, again, it's another long one. All three of the articles I had today were long. So, on that note, Brittany, I'm going to step away for a hot second. You want to tell folks about Jimmy and You Can Give, please?
Of course. Okay, so I can't imagine living without my cane. My cane has given me so much independence. So You Cane Give is a nonprofit that gives canes to people in countries where it's really, really, really hard to obtain a cane. A cane may cost someone's whole paycheck, or a whole month's worth of their paycheck. So Jimmy goes to these various countries and puts canes in the hands of blind people. So if you want to donate to Jimmy, youcanegive.org. If you have an old beat up raggedy cane, you can give it to Ed. If you come to the Casino Viejas trip, you can give your beat up canes to either Ed or Pedro. Or you can contact us at info@blindunited.org, and we will give you a shipping label, and you can send us your cane and we can refurbish it and we can give it to Jimmy. Also, if you don't have a raggedy beat up old cane, you can go to customcane.com and you can purchase you a cane or a cane accessory, and that the proceeds to that will also benefit You Cane Give. So you need a cane holster, you need a light for your cane, you need one of those telescoping canes, or if you want to get a cane with your favorite football team or your favorite color or your business logo, customcane.com. That's custom with a K, guys.
That's it. Jimmy is he's an amazing guy. He's doing a lot of great work, and like I said, I've been buying my canes from him for years. I refuse to carry a plain cane, and as Jimmy's slogan is for Custom Cane is "Don't be plain, go custom cane." So me personally, I try to be an advocate for our community and stuff like that. So I found that me being out and about with my canes, it's actually sometimes is a conversation starter. People see my cane and whether it's, oh man, what is that on your cane? Or man, why is your cane not white? Whatever the case may be, it gets that conversation started, and then we can create that awareness and try to inform people, on how to interact with us in our community and stuff like that. So, again, we just want to help Jimmy. He's helping out a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Brittany probably told you, but Jimmy's already given away over 2,500 canes in the few years that he's been doing this. But he's changed 2,500 lives. That's the way I choose to look at it. He's given 2,500 people some independence. Now they have a tool that they can use to navigate and find their way around the planet, and do what they do. Not sitting there waiting on somebody or walking out in the middle of traffic or all the many things that can happen when we don't have the necessary tools to navigate and do our O&M stuff. So, again, please help us out with that one. I told them earlier about the interest groups we got starting today, the 2 new interest groups. So, while in the last few minutes, you want to tell them a little bit more about that, what you guys got planned for the ladies' night?
Of course. Well, with Miss Aletha Donaldson, we're going to be doing makeup applications. So if you need some assistance as a blind woman, hey, how do I put on my lipstick? How do I make sure everything looks good? You can come in and Miss Aletha will give you some tricks and tips. And also after that, we will be doing a women's support group. I just want to let you guys know that me and Monica are not psychologists or psychiatrists. We are not mental health professionals. We are just some blind people, blind women who want to help other blind women. So if you just want a safe space to talk about your blindness, talking about the struggles of being a woman, and you don't want to talk about those different things in our main support group, come out and hang out with us. And we're, this is a new thing that we're trying, and hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, and just so you know, we are seeking someone that has a background in doing, this type of thing, just like we have for our main support group. But unfortunately, the person that's doing our main support group is a guy. So I don't think we necessarily want a guy running the women's support group. But again, we're trying to find somebody right now because our main thing is we don't want to give anybody any bad information. We just, the ladies already understand that, it's about, okay, well, this is what I would do in that situation. This is more of a collaborative thing, just sharing, different stuff with each other on, how they deal with different situations or whatever the case may be. Not anything coming from, an educated background on the topics. So, like I said, like Brittany said, it's just a group of blind women trying to help another group of blind women and do what we do, and that's what we're here to do in Blind United. We're just here to try to help folks in our community, So, again, we're here. We got a lot of different stuff on our interest group schedule, whether, like I said, it's the new support group, ladies' night, I'm going to call it. With the makeup and the support group. And then, like I said, we got JAWS training, we got iPhone training, we got Mac training, we got AI training. We're teaching folks how to speak Spanish. A lot of different stuff going on, and then there's a lot of entertainment stuff. Like every Friday night, we do movies, a couple times a month, we get together and play RS games on a Saturday night. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and so we're just, as our motto is, building bridges, closing gaps, and making connections. So we're just building these bridges across the country right now, and making those connections with people, no matter where they at across the nation, and building relationships with them, so that again, we can do what we do and help as many people as we can help in the process. So on that note, we're just a couple minutes short, but I'm going to go ahead and slide up here and get ready. Is there any comments down there, Britt? Or?
No, we did not get any comments today, but we'd like to thank all of you guys for listening, for supporting those people who are interest group leaders or those who just come to the interest groups. Even if you come and don't say anything, we still appreciate you and love you. So I just wanted to get that out the way.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So again, just continue to hang out with us and come in and join and do what we do. And if you got any ideas about anything you would like to see Blind United provide, whether it's, as far as an interest group or something like that, something I was thinking about, I'm going to throw it out here now, what, if you want to do a little shout out for somebody on their birthday or something like that, shoot me an email at info@blindunited.com, .org, I'm sorry, .com, .org, .net, .gov, .this, .dat. But anyway, .org, info@blindunited.org, and birthday shout out, and then let me know the person you want to shout out, and we can start shouting out people, and let the folks know we're thinking about them on their birthday and stuff like that. So on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this one to an end. I appreciate everybody, as Brittany said earlier, and we will definitely see you on the next one. And don't forget to come and join us, the ladies. Don't forget to come join us tonight for Ladies' Night and figure out how to get that makeup flawless. And then, come and stay in and hang out with the ladies a little bit later on and have your little girl chat. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of good stuff. So anyway, everybody, again, we appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll see you folks later on this evening.